many people following this or watching this video or this stream because it's kind of not my usual content, and I have been having a problem getting reach on YouTube in general lately. Uh, so we'll see. And also, my lighting is fucking ass right now. This sucks. I hate this. Okay, let's try something else. Testing 1, 2, 3. Everybody here? Let's go. There's literally still only one person. Okay. Hey, Exploring Idaho, what's up? Okay, now we got some folks coming in. Raider Rich, what's up? Freddy Skateboard, hey, how's it going? Hell yeah, happy to see y'all. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna give it a minute here so we can get some more folks in here before I start talking about what I know. I've been following the current conflict with Iran for a while, and like, you know, it obviously doesn't just start with what is going on right now. There's a lot of history behind it, and it's also not as complicated as you would think. But I would be interested. I know, like, because I've been so hyper focused on it and following all these news updates and looking into all these sources and stuff, like, I think I have a pretty good idea of what's going on, at least from a layman's perspective. But I also, because of that, know how insanely difficult it has been to get reliable information about the war, and I'm curious to know what y'all have been hearing about it, or if you've been hearing about it at all. And yeah, let me know what you've been hearing, what's going on with Iran and the U.S. and Israel. Tell me what you've heard. I also really don't want to do vertical streams anymore. I really hate doing vertical streams, but this is the type of issue that I thought would be worth doing a vertical stream for, so I can get a little bit more just casual viewers coming in, so that I can put out the information that I know as much as possible. Exploring Idaho says the Iran deal is crazy and could turn bad for us. I'm a retired combat vet and glad I am. It's already turned bad. It's turned really bad for us, actually. Yeah, it's not good. I don't know what you mean by deal, because they were in peace talks with Israel and the U.S. And according to reports, I don't know how true it is, but according to most reports, the peace talks were actually going pretty well. And there really doesn't seem like a reason that suddenly the U.S. would become aggressive. And when I'm talking about Israel and the U.S., like, they're acting as a joint operation. If y'all don't already know, the U.S. is completely controlled by Israel. So for all intents and purposes, they're the same entity. Our government has obviously been completely corrupted and taken over and occupied by Israel. It's really, really blatantly obvious. If you don't believe me, that's on you, and also because of propaganda in the news. So it's not, I mean, you know, our education system has been fucked over, especially over the last decade or two. And that's on purpose. So it's, yeah, it's not entirely on you. You know, a lot of it is propaganda, and the fact that all of our news outlets are owned by the same pedophile class that is also running not the world, but a big big portion of the world. And I don't want to get too into like the crackpot kind of conspiracy theorist weeds here. But yeah, it's definitely scary, and it's worse than you might think even. So less than 48 hours ago, Israel and the U.S. Bombed a school in Iran, and as far as I can tell, there's not really an official confirmed reason for that. And maybe I missed something, but it seems like it kind of just came out of nowhere. And there were, I think, 148 confirmed dead, with a lot more children buried under the rubble. That's when Iran completely lost their shit. And Iran has, like, Iran supplies and works with China. So that's really not good for us. And also, Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons, but they do have an insane amount of ballistic missiles and other cutting edge weaponry. And because of their ties with China, they also have access to bigger toys and stuff that we haven't even heard of yet. And China is definitely in the mix. They're like low key right now, but they do have a lot of equipment in the mix ready, kind of quietly under the radar, actually, like literally under the radar, because they have like way better technology than the US has, and they're able to scramble signals. They've got all sorts of toys in the air that are completely fucking up communications, and we don't even know what they have. There are like some confirmed reports of like aircraft carriers being in really scary positions for us, for not us. I fucking hate the US government. I'm an anarchist. Okay. So I'm very much pro anything that takes down the imperialist fucking bastards that have been destroying the planet. So, well, yeah, it's not us, the US government controlled by Israel. Exploring Idaho says, don't take this wrong, but in this situation, I stand with Iran. If that sounds bad, no, it doesn't. That's completely reasonable. I also am rooting for Iran. Iran. Sorry, I say it in American, but that's, yeah. Yeah, fucking death to America. I'll say it. Fuck them. So actually, Iran is not fucking playing around. Since 2 nights ago, they just started fucking going off. They're tearing up U.S. bases across the Middle East, starting with Bahrain and the UAE. They've taken out water purification systems in Israel. They've been mercilessly shelling Tel Aviv. Like, Tel Aviv is fucked up. And it's really hard to get a good scope of like how fucked up it is, because there's so much disinformation going on the internet. It's like, it's really, really difficult to get any kernel of like real information. But yeah, Iran is not pulling any punches. I wonder what they're up to right now. Let's see. And this is like, there's new updates like every 20 minutes. So right now we're entering into like all out, I mean, we are in open war with Iran. And I say we as in like the US, not me. And I gotta stop saying that, because I don't want any part of this fucking, yeah. Anyway, it's you know, that's the only thing they teach us in school is patriotism. We're the only country where we stand and like recite the Pledge of Allegiance and shit. That's so weird. But let's see, where was it? Oh yeah, so the U.S. is in open all-out war with Iran and Israel. Israel is getting fucking mopped, dude, and it's really interesting to see. There are reports that Netanyahu fled the country for Germany, and I've seen that report from a lot of different sources. I do not know how true it is. And other sources even say that he's dead. So who knows? The prime minister of Iran is confirmed dead. That's Prime Minister Khamenei. And that's a whole different situation, too, because for the past few months, the people of Iran have been trying to overthrow their government because the government is corrupt and they've been outright killing people for protesting against unfair conditions. So there's a lot of news circulating and propaganda talking about how either like killing Khomeini was good or it was bad, and standing with Iran or not standing with Iran, like whatever. And there are a lot of people who are anarchists from Iran who are saying that the movement and the protests are organic, while others are saying that it is a CIA psyop to destabilize their government. I am not in Iran, and I am not in direct contact with any anarchists in Iran, unfortunately. And that is because their government has blacked out their communications to the outside world. So it's been really difficult to get on the ground news from people in Iran. Hold on, I'm banning Josiah. Um, and I'm just taking a moment to ban some folks. We got new people in the chat. That's great. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. So the issues in Iran are difficult in general, because the U.S. government does have a long history of destabilizing governments, especially in the Middle East, when there's issues. Another thing that's interesting is that Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz, which is where what I want to say like 80% of the world's oil comes through. And they have taken it as of, I think, this morning, our time. So gas prices are about to go up, like big time. Like, it's not good. It's really not good. And, you know, with China working with Iran behind the scenes, the U.S. is not. Like, I think, honestly, it comes down to oil, and it comes down to Trump wants to distract the world from the fact that he's a pedophile, and that there is a global cabal. I feel really weird saying that, but there is a global cabal of pedophilic, possibly reptilian, fucking like very evil people that are harvesting humans, trafficking humans around the world. And this is all confirmed stuff. And this global cabal, I wish that there was like a more technical term for this, but we don't have it yet. Turns out a lot of the conspiracy theories of the last decade are actually true. And I have said before, like, we got to be careful not to stray into conspiracy theories where it discredits your point of view, which Israel is like the hub of where this is coming from. That's why the U.S. is in Israel's pocket. That's why the lines between Israel and the U.S. are blurred so much, because they really are the ones pulling the strings. They own our government now. And you got to be careful with the conspiracy theories. Like, over the last decade, Israel has been ceding conspiracy theories against them with kernels of truth, but with certain rhetoric not quite on base. So you'll see comment sections that are rightly criticizing Israel, where a bunch of people will be like, it's the Jews. And then everybody's going to be like, okay, well, I can't take this seriously because this is obviously some like racist neo-Nazi conspiracy theory. And it's like, it is Israel. It's not the Jews. Like once you start getting into racist territory, then you're not seeing what's actually happening. And the handsome dancer is probably one of those people. Oh no, never mind. That's the next person. Okay. I just banned the person above them. Who? The handsome dancer says, "Hi Van Gogh, I'm texting from a bunker in Tehran. Can you give a message out, please?" Yeah, I don't know for a fact that you are texting from a bunker in Tehran, but I will listen to your message and um, I'll look into your account later and see if that's true. Also, there is a link in the description for anarchist.news on Instagram, and that is my anarchist news page where I put out updates that I vet and look at that I think are pertinent for what's going on. And I also have like been trying to get an idea of what's going on, what happened with back in the Reagan era. There was Iran Contra, where the U.S. It's really, really convoluted and difficult to understand, and I wonder if a lot of that was also like a CIA psyop thing, because I guess apparently, according to historical accounts, Iran was like basically extorting the Reagan administration for tons and tons of money for weapons that they were selling to us. But like, I listened to an entire like 4-hour episode about that and like really couldn't make much heads or tails of it other than that it kind of seemed like it was tedious on purpose, at least the story, so that you couldn't really keep track of what was going on. I don't know. Do you think World War III is coming up? Dude, we have been in World War III. We're already in World War III. I've been saying this since like last year. Like, the world has been at war. Like, I don't understand how people can like see the news about how the US government literally like kidnapped the president of another country and brought him to our like our shit, and there's also wars happening in like half of all major like developed countries in the world, and there's been a genocide going on for like 2 years, and all of these countries, including the US, have uprisings of people trying to topple their government, and in many cases other countries have toppled their government, like Nepal. And like I don't know how people can like look at all that and think like, if this keeps going on, we're gonna be in World War II, man, or World War III. Like that's not like we've been in it. And World War III, they want us to believe that it's going to be like that we're waiting for these governments to all get into it. We're gonna have China and Russia and the U.S. and like they're all gonna be duking it out, and then at the end they're gonna tell us who was the good guys and who was the bad guys, because you know what they say, history is written by the winners. So whoever wins that is gonna get to write the history books, and we'll be like, wow, Russia was the good guys after all, and we knew it, we all knew it, and whatever. The world war that's been going on has been a war for you and I, our minds and our hearts and souls. It's the ruling class versus we the people. And I've been saying that for a long fucking time. And now they're going to do this whole global theater to make us forget that, so that we're all like, oh, I don't even know what's what anymore, man. Like, am I for Iran or am I against Iran? Like, I don't even know, man. I'm just gonna go back to bed and wait until it's over and then read a history book about it later and say that I was on the good guy's side. That's what it is. We're witnessing political theater. We're witnessing your tax dollars getting burnt up in the sky, all so that a pedophile fucking creep can hide, and so that they can say that they were protecting Iran from their corrupt government, which they destabilized. Um, and then we can all, we'll all get overwhelmed. And like, I don't know, it's really hard to say how deep it goes. But at this point, we've got the axis of evil, which of course is the US and Israel, and whoever is covering for the US and Israel. That's the bad guys, clearly. And the people, the entities that have been rising up against it, it's starting with the catalyst, that's Iran. And backing Iran is China. Also, Russia is in the mix somewhere. Russia is definitely supplying things to those entities. North Korea has even, Kim Jong Un has been like, he's openly said that he will nuke Israel, like as of less than an hour ago, I believe. He's just waiting for it. He's chomping at the bit. He genuinely has made it very known that he hates Israel and that he wants nothing more than to completely wipe them off the face of the planet. So we've got, yeah, North Korea is the kind of interesting one coming out of the woodwork. GTO says Ayatollah no more. Hell yeah. Satan, shut up. Shush. All right, let's see. Mr. Crisco says, hell yeah, dude, you got it. It's a lot to keep track of, but I feel like all of that stuff that's been like put out that you're supposed to keep track of is a barrage on the collective consciousness, so that people get confused and scared and shut down and then just stop paying attention. Also, as of like about an hour ago, Iran missiles made it to Europe. Let me check on that. Because they did actually, it's like, where's, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Let me look into it. But yeah, nobody is safe. And Donald Trump has also stated that he wants to nuke Iran, and that's really not going to go well, because obviously China is in the mix, and China has been just waiting for the US to give them a reason. Literally. Like, they've been flexing all year, dude. They've been like hardcore flexing. They're ready. They're so ready. And they have way better equipment than we do. They're way more stable than we are. We'd be so cooked, dude. Like, Donald Trump is gonna get us fucking nuked, dude. Like, he would rather have the entire US nuked than for him to have to face the music of the horrible crimes against humanity that he's committed, and crimes against children. And it does go deeper than we all think. Let's see. I'm just catching up in chat here. The big divide. Yep. They hit RAF Akrotiri Cyprus. Thank you, Euro Scott. I appreciate that. Yeah, I actually just like completely forgot. What the fuck? RAF. I wanna I'll just look it up and see when that was, because that was like really recently. Yeah, things are moving fast. Even during the time that I've been speaking, there are most definitely developments. Like we are witnessing all out fucking war, and there it cannot escalate more without being in solid nuclear war territory. I'm so fucking serious right now. And we've already, even in the last like few hours, had multiple threats of escalating it to that point. Um, yeah, Royal Air Force in on the Mediterranean island of Cyprus. Okay, I thought it was Cyprus, located in the Western Sovereign Base area, one of two areas which comprise Akrotiri and Dhekelia, a British overseas territory. Where is it exactly on the map? Euro Scott says, I'm from Germany. It was last night or today or was based there. Oh, shit. That is very interesting. Yeah, if anybody in the chat is close to any of the things that are going on or has information that the rest of the world may not have in real time, because the news is being suppressed and drowned out, I'm very interested to see what you have to say, and I can look in on it and fact check here on stream. Okay, so I see. Okay, it's on the southern end of Cyprus. So it's European territory, but it's in the Mediterranean Sea, obviously. But it's getting, I mean, it's getting further out. Damn. Yeah, and man, Iran is not fucking playing around, dude. Freddie Skateboard says this is completely illegal since the president must seek approval from Congress to do more than limited military action. Oh yeah, but we all know that that's not going to stop him. Like Trump is a maniac. He's a fucking maniac. So I don't know. Let it be known on the behalf of the people of the U.S. We don't fucking like him. We don't want him. Please destroy him. Please. We will be very glad to see that. He's a fucking maniac. And also, you know, because Israel was the one who made the strike, the U.S. is obviously like doing this with them and has joined the war, but they can say that it was Israel. They can blame it all on Israel. And apparently, as of like before my stream started, there have been confirmed U.S. citizen deaths as well in the mix. Let's see. Check out Deutsche Well for European views on the topic. Yeah, I will. I'm also just like not fully trusting stuff that comes out of Germany as well. Germany has been one of those countries that's been infiltrated by the pedophile ruling class. And there's been protests across Germany as well. And you know, it's also been unstable. So I don't know who controls those reports. That's why it's really important to get a lot of different reports and compare them, and then kind of like figure out what you can actually take from those. Fried Pickle says Iran has every right to defend itself. Hell yeah. Iran isn't gonna do shit. You're a fucking dumbass, dude. You're so stupid. Exploring Idaho says hopefully no nukes come into play. Well, Trump literally just said that he was gonna nuke Iran. And that was like, yeah, about an hour or so ago. And like I said earlier, there's been multiple other threats and mentions of nuclear war. Like we're at the phase in World War where people are starting to make those threats. And at the level of technology we're at, like if people actually start nuking each other, that's gonna decimate the planet. Like it's yeah, yeah. It's not gonna be good. Um, we got a lot of new folks in chat here. That's very interesting. Make sure you hit the like button. And if anybody wants to go ahead and get down with the kickdown, then I do have links in the description for my PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. I do appreciate it if anybody did kick down. Let's see. Oh yeah. Let me see if there's any updates here. There's I've been also following the Iran official Instagram page, and they're posting a lot of interesting current updates. 4 hours ago, they posted the 12th wave of Operation True Promise 4 is now underway. I mean, obviously, they've got somebody, putting up approved video content and it's curated and stuff, but I don't think that they're making shit up. They, for tactical reasons, very well could be, or, having it on a delay or something. By the way, our hearts go out to the American troops who died yesterday. Deep sorrow from us. I don't feel bad about the American troops that were killed. They have been deployed to serve Israel. They made their choice. And at this point, if they don't know what they're defending, that's on them. Truly, it is. Anybody that got caught up after all that, like, they got what's coming to them. Same with any Israelis. Like, I truly do not give a shit. I don't feel bad about it at all, to be perfectly honest. I feel bad about the thousands of children who have been starved to death and bombed in Gaza. And I feel horrible about all the people who have been pushed out of their homes over the last few years and are starving, and they're watching the bombs going over them right now, and they'll probably get caught in the crossfire. So yeah, I don't think that any U.S. troops serving in the Middle East should have your sympathy at all. Exploring Idaho says, fuck it. I went over to Oregon and bought a whole shitload of edibles. I'm just going to get fucked up and live. That's what they want you to do. That's kind of the weak way out. Sorry to say it. The reason why you're being bombarded with all of this information on social media and stuff is to overwhelm you so that you neutralize yourself. And, I've done it too, where it's like, holy shit, the world's going to hell. I'm just going to get fucked up and just tune out. Like, that's so convenient for them. They would love it if every American did that. Truly, they would. I'm out. Human life is human life. Okay, bye. If you think that people that rape babies are humans, then you can get the fuck out of my chat. Those are not humans. Those are fucking ghouls. They traded in their humanity for capital gain. That's how it is. And that's the same energy that created billionaires. Billionaires are not humans. They are demons. They're literal fucking ghouls. They have sold their humanity for wealth, and that is why they do what they do. That's why they've been able to hoard all the money of the world, and that's why our planet is being destroyed. That's why we've got the hottest year on record again, and we will again next year. And that's why all of our groceries cost so much money. And that's why nobody can afford rent or anything else that they need to afford. Tens of thousands of children. Yes, thank you, Rob Peters. Exactly. It's 100,000 children or more. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it's an insane number. International solidarity should be built within the states. Opposing imperialism should be at the forefront of our demands. Yes, yes, anarchists have been saying that for decades. Yeah, that's what solidarity is, working class solidarity. It's very important. We need to remember that it's not about all of these different countries against each other and whose side are you on. It's about us versus the ruling class, okay? It's always been no war but class war. That's why we say that. It's not just a fun slogan that punks put on t-shirts. That's what it is. That's the cheat code. That's how you know what we should be caring about. No war but class war. If you're like, what the fuck is going on? Who's the good guys? Who's the bad guys? No war but class war. There we go. Make it easy for you. Like, anarchists are not all like political theorists. Like, not all of us went to college or know, you know, a whole lot of theory. It's really actually not that hard to have good praxis. I'm not checking it out. I'm not checking out. I'm just living it up. Yeah, I honestly can't enjoy myself knowing that there are people out in the world that are being harmed and I can do something about it. Maybe you don't know what you can do about it, but there's definitely something that we can all do about it. Even if that means just like, I don't know, doing little crimes that you can get away with that make it harder for the ruling class. Like, I don't know, stealing from Walmart. Like, you know, you're probably broke and hungry and you want Pop-Tarts or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Like, or, yeah, there's all sorts of things that you can do. If you're broke, you know, there's all sorts of things you can do. But if you're not broke, then you could be sending money to send relief to people as well. In this situation, we're the bad guys. Yeah, yeah. And anybody like, I mean, anybody that is still supporting the US government or the fucking dumbass orange piece of shit, or the police or whatever, then yeah, you're the bad guy too. I personally have been living outside of society for over a decade now. I've never paid taxes, and I've been very, very anti-government and anti-capitalist for my entire adult life. You don't, you know, not everybody has to be like on the front lines of like protests, like holding back cops and tear gas, or whatever, you know. Sometimes activism is just making sure like the people in your neighborhood are okay and fed. Protect Trans Lives says, how do you feel about single events in a war that you don't personally feel bad about in light of no war but class war? Like Taliban being killed by Pakistani soldiers or Iranian fascists? Well, I don't know what the fuck you mean by single events in war, like, because there's no like isolated events in a war. Like, war is bad, period. And fascists are part of the class war. because fascists serve the ruling class. So it's I'm not sure what you want me to say about that. Like, I don't know. Like, do you want me to say that I think it's bad when people get killed by the Taliban? Is that what you want me to say, or what? Because like, yeah, obviously it's bad when people get killed. Um, Idaho says I can guarantee I'm on the government watch list, and I'm adding to my file. Oh yeah, for sure. Protect Trans Life says I struggle with that sometimes, even as self-proclaimed anarchist. Mermaiden says Walmart popped me for that back in 2009. They're tough, but yeah, do whatever you can. I recently got some clothes for a foster kiddo my friend took on. Feels good to help where and when possible. Yes. Yeah, like the trick is not to get overwhelmed by all of these crazy big world events, and just focus on um, your immediate surroundings, like making connections with your neighbors and forming mutual aid groups, and communicating with people, and also de-radicalizing members of your family, educating people. There's also an attack on transgender rights in the US, which is fucking awful, and honestly has been making it really hard for me personally to want to do anything. um, I have totally been bed rotting and just like really upset and pissed off and not knowing what to do. So that's why I'm saying, like, don't fall into that trap if you can. Like, there is definitely a reason, like a reason for taking it easy and just like, collecting yourself and not ruminating on horrible shit that's happening. And definitely like take care of yourself, but don't get caught in like a doom cycle. And I'm not saying that's what I did, but like it was really hard not to. I'm gonna be real. Protect Trans Life says, hope I worded it. Okay, English isn't my first language. Okay, I get it. In good faith for advice. I believe that you're asking in good faith. Yeah, I guess I'm just like there is no like isolated case or isolated like conflict within war. Like it all ties into a larger issue, I guess. So I'm not like I guess you're saying you struggle with like how you feel about war in general. I'm not sure. Uh, Hold on. Practical education is essential. No one needs a doctorate in philosophy or science to experience hunger, police repression, mental and physical exhaustion from living under class society. Right, yeah. And if it's not accessible to the poor, then it's not revolutionary. So, I've been in so many discussions and debates with people about anarchist philosophy who only know what they learned in their expensive college, and reading theory, and they will so proudly and at great length quote Marx and like all of these books, which are great to read and stuff, but the reason that they're doing it isn't to make a good point or like relate or like create a working understanding of what the discussion is. It's just to like beat the other person into submission, um, so that they feel like they're out of their depth and can't speak on the subject. Um, I'm all for education. I think education is a very important thing, but also, you don't have to go to college to learn what it's like to be oppressed. The most oppressed people are the ones that don't have access to good schooling. We have a lot of transphobes in the chat. I suspect they're mostly bots. That's another thing I want y'all to keep an eye out for. And I've talked about this before, but you will see online, especially current events discussions, where there will be a whole lot of people saying a whole lot of really dumb, incorrect shit. And then they'll be going and talking to other people in the threads. And like the accounts that are putting forth propaganda are also like seeded by other bots so that these the billionaire class absolutely can pull strings to make it look like there is a larger amount of people that are for or against an idea, and you not knowing that, or like just being a casual observer trying to figure out what's going on, you'll like click on these videos and scroll through the comments, and it'll paint a completely different picture from what's actually going on. So that's another way that they can sow confusion. Protect Trans Lives says, I agree with that. It just feels weird sometimes to feel so okay with certain singular events of warfare. But never mind, too big of an issue to talk about in chat maybe. I just don't understand what you're referring to. Like what singular events do you like are you speaking about that you think people feel okay about? I just don't know what you're referring to. I don't know what your reference point here is. Yeah, chat is especially edgy and cringe today. It's literally just like a bunch of bots because of the subject matter that I have, and I see it like if you go to like especially unmoderated chats of news platforms, you'll see it in full force. It's crazy. Like I've gone into these chats and like tried to engage some of these people that are chatting, and it's like 95% of them are bots, and they're just like talking about nothing. Sometimes the video will be like something completely unrelated to whatever they're commenting about. And like it's so funny too cuz like I was watching this one um it was like a live stream of a protest, but the camera had been set up in on like a street corner and was like completely unmanned, right? And at this particular point in the stream, nothing was happening. There was like not even anybody on camera, you know. It was like so far away from any action. There was like it there must have been like less than a dozen people on the street at this point. And in the chat, I saw a bunch of people saying like, "Yeah, go get him! Look at that!" and like commenting about things that were not happening on screen at all. Like, "Whoa, did you just see that guy?" Like, that type of thing. And then there were people, like actual people in the chat that were like, "Wait, did I miss it? Like, what happened?" And they have no idea. It's like there's some really like bottom of the barrel shitty bots that you'll see in there too. Much love to the ones who still have souls. Yeah, for real. There are definitely very real people that have nothing to do with any of this that are trying to live their lives that are being caught caught up in these wars between these billionaires who see us just as fodder, and that sucks. Texas or Bus says, how do you support yourself? Well, viewers like you can donate today if you want to click one of my links in the description. There's Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. I would really appreciate if somebody wanted to get down with the kickdown. And if anybody has any questions about what I know about what's going on in Iran, feel free to ask. Mostly, I just see a lot of tactics to distract the public and overwhelm. But I'm also going to look at my money apps and see if anybody kicked down, just in case you did, because that would be dope. I don't usually make a whole lot on this type of segment. Mostly I just get a bunch of bots saying stupid ass shit and newbies who have no idea who the fuck I am or where they are. Yeah, just saying dumb shit. Like James Preston. It's a very stupid comment. So our fake news media, and you need to remember that all of the news, all of the mainstream news that you're going to see has an agenda. Any major news source has an agenda. It looks like somebody did kick down. Oh, Riley kicked down earlier today. Thank you, Riley. What a sweetheart. Oh. Let's see. Let's see if I can find out U.S. bases hit by Iran. Yeah, it's really hard. What bases did Iran target? It's from this morning. The U.S. reports that the damages are minimal. And now I can't read the rest of it. I don't trust that. Explosions heard in Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, and the UAE. Yeah, I had heard that. But they're just reporting on explosions heard. Depending on different sources. Because, of course, Iran itself is going to say, like, what they're going to say. And you got to take that with a grain of salt because they want to... They want, obviously, to self-report as though, you know, things are under control and going well. And that's not to say that it isn't. That's not to say that they're lying per se. They may or may not be. It's unclear. And any reports from on the ground are also just like random people on the ground. So it's really hard to, you know, to go in and check on every single person. But it seems like they're not exaggerating when they post stuff, and other than obviously saying things like total devastation, which like you can't really, like, it doesn't necessarily mean anything concrete. David says Iran didn't start the war. Yeah, no shit. Israel and the U.S. did, absolutely, and Iran isn't. They're not going to get pushed around. Iran is backed by China, 100%. And also against the U.S. and Israel are Russia and North Korea, for sure. China, Russia, North Korea, we're cooked, dude. Like, for real. Yeah. So Trump is going to try to posture. I honestly think, like, because Trump has said on multiple occasions that he wants to start a war. He wants an all-out war, and he would love it if missiles hit U.S. soil. To be perfectly frank, he would like that a lot because, like, that's what he's hoping for. Because if that happens, then he can do a lot of things. He can fuck our government up so bad, and like way worse than he already has, under the guise of, wartime. So I think that's really at its core, the real reason why Israel and the U.S. struck Iran just out of the blue 2 nights ago. Premium says the agenda of the mainstream media is to inform the public as accurately as possible. Shut up, idiot. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Fucking bot. The purpose of the mainstream media is to inform the public as accurately as possible. Dumbass. What the fuck is even that? Daddy, chill. Everyone should live where they're happy. Yeah, people should be able to live where they're happy. And also to not have to be pushed out of where they already live and are happy. And also, if there is an entity that is making most of the world unsafe for most of the people, then it's not on everybody else to avoid them. Yeah, it's very much high time that Israel gets wiped off the face of the planet. The history of Israel is colonial anyway. I don't know, like, some people are not informed, and it is kind of hard to figure out, but like, Israel has not existed for that long. And it's a misnomer too, like, because the Israel in the Bible is not the same as Israel the country. All of those people are not from the Middle East. They speak Hebrew. Hebrew was a dead language. They resurrected it. They brought it back and made it their language. But they speak it's like a weird version of it. Like, Israel is literally a made-up country. It truly is. All of those people that live in Israel are people from different parts of the world. Like, Netanyahu was born in, I think, Poland, and he went to school in Pennsylvania. No shit, look it up. That's actually a real thing. Like Israel is a fucking made-up country. They do not have a right to defend themselves. They're literally a place that was made up to draw people of Jewish descent there so that if anybody tried to fuck with them, then they could claim that they're being anti-Semitic. They're trying to pull Jewish people under the bus with them if anybody tries to stand against them. And like, who originally created Israel? That is like a really convoluted history to look into. But it goes back a ways. We got President Donald Trump in chat. I hope you die. Welcome, new folks. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to look up, when was Israel established? And I'm not doing a Google search. I don't search on Google because Google is also run by the same ruling class and oligarchs. The history of Israel. The 19th century saw the rise of a Jewish nationalist movement in Europe known as Zionism. Jewish immigration to Israel from the diaspora increased. During World War I, the Sinai and Palestine campaign of the Allies led to the partition of the Ottoman Empire. Britain was granted control of the region by a League of Nations mandate known as Mandatory Palestine. So they were colonizing it in the 19th century because of the Jewish nationalist movement, which is Zionism. The British committed to the creation of a Jewish homeland in 1917. Balfour Declaration. Palestinian Arabs sought to prevent Jewish immigration, and tension grew during British administration. So the Jewish homeland wasn't established until 1917, guys. And it was part of the partition of the Ottoman Empire, which was like in the 1880s stuff. Let's see. Ken's is an idiot and says, read the Bible, you'll see when Israel was established. Bro, do you not know that like people, like I could create a place right now that was like named Bethlehem or named Jericho. Like that doesn't mean that it's the same Jericho as in the Bible, dude. Like you understand that, right? Like I met a person named Ruth the other day. That wasn't Ruth from the Bible. Like you're a fucking moron. These people vote too. That's crazy. Freddie says Judaism expects one future human leader, not divide, who will gather the Jewish people back to Israel, rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, bring universal peace, restore proper Torah observance. This person has not yet come in Jewish theology. In May 1948, the Israeli Declaration of Independence sparked the 1948 war, in which Israel repelled the armies of the neighboring states. It resulted in the 1948 Palestinian expulsion and flight. So they literally came to where the Palestinians were living and were like, this is Israel now. And then kicked them all out in 1948 after waging war on them. And then they've been pushing them further and further into these fenced-in areas and starving them and bombing them and destroying what they have left. That's crazy. Anyway, all right, we're at about an hour here, y'all. Freddie says, yeah, the Nakba was like the Trail of Tears for Palestine. Yeah, it's a whole thing, guys. Like, Israel has not been there for very long. Like, the nation of Israel was established in 1917. And the Palestinians were already there on that land. So anyway, have you ever read the Bible? Yes, dude. I grew up fucking evangelical. I've read the Bible cover to cover 3 times. Dumbass. Have you read the Bible? I don't think you have. It was Judea before Palestine. I don't know. I don't know about that. Did you actually understand it? Yes, that's why I stopped believing in the Bible, because I have reading comprehension. Fucking moron. Putting you in timeout for 24 hours. You can come back when you're less stupid, hopefully. All right, any more questions? What's going on with Iran? Iran is not fucking playing. Like I said, they are unloading on Israel right now. And the news is going to try and distract you with shit like, is Jim Carrey a clone? Or other bullshit like that. Like, if you can't make heads or tails of it and it's overwhelming you, just like stop being on social media and stop looking to social media to help you to figure out what's going on. And just like go outside and like garden and feed a homeless person, touch grass, you know, don't get all overwhelmed about it. And just like remember that it's us versus the overlords, the shitty fucking ruling class that's destroying our planet. If you get caught up in details, wondering what the fuck's going on, no war but class war, okay? Violence is awful, and people should not be getting harmed. Like in this day and age, there's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't be able to reason with people instead of blowing them up or starving them or forcing them into camps or taking them away from their families. There's zero fucking reason that any of this should be happening. Like, we are better than that as a human race, as a species. We've just allowed these non-human fucking ghouls all of the power, and that is why all of this horrible shit is happening. It's because billionaires are not fucking humans, and they don't care how many of us they destroy. In fact, they want to destroy as many of us as possible, because that way there's not more of us than they can manage. Do you understand? Like, we are livestock to them. We're literally fucking livestock to them. If you're a service member, abandon your post. And also, like, before you do, sabotage everything. Do like what they did on that, what was that boat called? SS something. It was like 5 days ago. The entire crew clogged up all of the toilets on this boat and set them to overflow. And it fucking made it so that this boat couldn't do anything. And this was like a major like carrier. Yeah, I forget what the boat was called. And they want your children, people. Wake up. Yes, Beatlemania. They do. They do. Yeah, stay focused. Don't get all muddled up in the weeds. All of this is happening really fast and it's really scary. It's literally like all of the bombs and explosives that Iran has, we paid for. Maybe not me, I don't pay taxes, but the people of the United States paid for it. Like I said, Iran-Contra in the 1980s was when the US government was sending billions of dollars to Iran for weapons. And these are those same weapons that they have. So it's your tax dollars being used to explode your tax dollars. That's it. It's literally just like a huge money-making scheme to overwhelm you and make you forget that our ruling class is a bunch of pedophiles. That's it. It's the theater of war. Don't get freaked out. Don't shut down. Just remember who the real bad guys are, and that's billionaires, people in power, anybody that supports Israel. That's who we're against. So yeah, stay focused, eyes on the prize. The seat of these horrible powers of the world lies in Israel. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm not entirely clear on all the ins and outs. I don't know if anybody really is. I'm sure somebody is. And other people do have better ideas. Oliver North, the fall guy. Who is that? Oh, we got a Hasbara bot in here. Oh yeah, look up Hasbara as well. If you're somebody that's like chronically online and you're looking through all these comment sections, just look up what Hasbara is. Okay. How long do you think this war would last? Until like, I don't know. It depends on how they want to play it out. That's the thing. It's a theater. Okay. And yeah, they'll take out as many of us as they need to. Dog Catcher says, take your advice and you don't know Ollie North? Well, it's not like they teach you this shit in school. Oliver Lawrence North is an American political commentator, television host, military historian, author, and retired United States Marine Corps lieutenant colonel. Oh, yeah. I do know who that is. Political scandal of the staff member involved the illegal sale of weapons. Yeah, to Khomeini regime of the Islamic Republic. North formulated the second part of the plan, which was to divert proceeds from the arms sales to support the contra-rebel groups in Nicaragua, official funding for which had been specifically prohibited under the Boland Amendment. North was granted limited immunity from prosecution. Yeah, okay. I get what you're saying, the fall guy. Man, I don't remember all the names of all these fucking suits. All right. All right, I gotta fuck off. Thanks, y'all, for joining me. There is a link to my Anarchist Instagram channel in the description, and if you want to drop $1 or so, feel free. There's PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App links in the description, and I will be sure to let you know if anything else major happens. But this is definitely escalating really quickly, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right. I appreciate all you guys. Hopefully next stream will be more fun. Oh yeah, an update, personal update on me. I have put a new foot on my prosthetic. This is a running foot, so I can go jogging now, which is really cool. So I'm excited about that. All right, take it easy, y'all. I'll see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.